Evening to discuss juvenile crime, and I'd like to start out about the cause of juvenile crimes and the environment that children are around and where they get it from. And I also want to cover the basis of what actions to take with juvenile crime, how we can solve that problem, and starting with the low-income communities where the higher rates of crime amongst our juveniles begin, and lower-income areas and large cities, and housing areas where there's single parents because they're working all day and they don't have time and they are not with the youngsters during the day to supervise and discipline them and teach them right or wrong or good behavior. And children behavior is a lot of times caused by what they see around in their surroundings. So that's one reason for juvenile crime in our community. And another is domestic violence in the house. When children do behave with the actions they see, they pick up one easily. If they're watching domestic violence in their home or they're disciplined, the way they're disciplined is with violence, then it sticks with them and they grow up violent as youngsters and even to young adults, into adulthood. And another thing I'd like to cover with you is the problem, how to solve it. The Department of Justice does come up with a few examples of what can be done to help this situation. The community get together, the law enforcement, social services, counseling, and even religious leaders. You can have meetings and discuss what problems and solutions to come up with solving the problems of our young people. Because if we don't solve that problem at a young age, they will grow up and these are our future leaders. And our country depends on us solving that problem and nipping it in the bud while they're still young. And it starts at home. If you can solve this problem talk to your children and spend time and set examples for them at home, then that does help create less violence and less angry teenagers and youngsters, and less killing that's going on, drug abuse and all the stuff that these youngsters are doing that are sending them off to jail and leading them into a life of crime. So in conclusion, if we get together and solve the problem, we need to get together and solve the problem with it now while they're young, and to keep it from spreading and getting worse between the whole country. Just everyone as a community sit in on a meeting, have counseling, provide help and extra activities for the youngsters to do, after school programs, even sports, weekend programs, and family time. If you spend time with with your family and your young teenagers and teach them, as a matter of fact, time in church, time at home, just talking, sitting around, playing family games, is a lot of things that we can do to solve the problem of having them out in the street all times of the night and not knowing where they are, what they're doing. That will solve a lot of the problems with our juveniles